Now that you're almost done with the basics of 2D drafting, you have to start to realize how much there is in the raster world. So I've mentioned a number of times in class, paint. I'll do a little bit of demonstration on that in the next week or so just to see how much you can take stuff out into other worlds. The GIMP. And now I give you OE Cake, and we'll talk about the son or daughter of OE Cake. This is still such an incredibly cool program. You might want to get it. And what I'm going to do here, just to show you, I'm just going to do a quick demonstration using some of the grading sheets I just came up with by doing some scanning and the like. So I'm going to go ahead and do a drag and drop on one of these if I can find them. So I'm going to leap up here and go over here to Mark Patak and to my pictures. And there's all kinds of different summaries out there, but I'm just going to go ahead and do the summary 2. So I'm going to drag that in there. Before I do, I'm going to, grabbing the summary 2 in here, I'm going to actually make it to be brittle. So you're going to see what that means in a little bit. So what you've got is you have an ability to assign different kind of material types to this in this program, OE Cake. And if whatever is the current material, brittle, when you pull your raster in, and your raster could be an output, a JPEG output from Autocad. So you could really think about doing some pretty interesting, fascinating things with animation in this program. And I'll just get you slightly started here as we kind of roll towards the end of the semester. I'm going to, of course, encourage you all to come to class this week. In the end, we ended up with 30 assignments, including the 2 exam questions. Those were 20 points each, then 40 points, or essentially 400 points for attendance. Those who were missed classes for good reasons, I'm a pretty liberal person in that, in terms of paying it forward, however, and the expectation will be that you're going to continue using some sort of drafting engine. I would say even over the break. Don't let this stuff go fallow. And some of the things I'm going to show you hopefully in the next week or two should make you not want to let them go fallow. So I've got OE Cake here running. I got it on brittle, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in this summary picture here. And you see there's the picture. And somehow that was a brittle material, and so that picture is going to fall down to the bottom here. Pull this off to the side and just start to split apart. And you see it compress. It's so brittle it compresses and it breaks. And we're going to go ahead and just bring in a jet thing right here, which is pretty dense, and I'm going to let that go. And that's going to cut right through, I presume, right through the brittle material. So all that you see in front of you was a bunch of screenshots, more or less. Remember, Alt print screen, put something in buffer. And so what I did with all of those things there when I was grading your papers, more or less, was to go ahead and do a print screen, dump it into Paint, do a little bit of a trim, and then invert the colors. So I didn't get rid of the black. I kind of pasted those all together in this kind of really compact file, something like a thumbnail file. And with that, I can pull it in here because it is a raster format. I can pull it into this program and do lots of interesting things with it. So let's just try one more. Try it again. We'll do a clear here, and we'll pull another one up if we can. See if I can find pictures there. And I've got all kinds of pictures here. We'll try to maybe give you a chance to do some of this week if I have this machine in. This program here is, along with things like Gigapan and Photosynth and SketchUp and Sketchy Physics and Fun Physics, is really part of an emergent learning theory based on something. I don't know what it is. It's screwing around, or perhaps it's larger than that. So let me see if I can bring in the unit circle here. See what? Let me bring this one in as water. I'm going to bring this one as water. So I'm going to click that as water, and I'm going to bring in the unit circle and see if that does anything for me. Oh, look at that. Now you notice there the pixelization is a little bit odder, but what I wanted you to see here is as this thing starts to run around and mix its way up and everything else, I can kind of turn gravity off if I want. And I can add a heater in here. If I add a heater, that's going to boil everything up above it, and I can add a cooler up above. put a cooler here. And what you might see, if I go ahead and put some more heater here, I can add some fire to this. And I don't know, fire must burn water, or water puts fire out. It's kind of like a big game of rock, paper, scissors. But if you think about the coloring of each of these things right here, they started as they did in that original document. So I'm going to try again and do another clear here. We'll try one more. Let's see if I can bring in something as Moki, which I don't even know what that is, but it's a kind of, you notice this is a gaming, but it's also a physics engine, this would be called. So I'm going to bring in something from my other class. This is a PNG file, and you can see it didn't want to do much with that. It's kind of sticking around and not wanting to do anything. Bring in some rice here. Now I'm going to turn on gravity. The reason it's not... Oh, now I'm going to turn on some water there. Oh, and the water's going to mix, and I can draw a boat here. Draw a little boat to float on the Moki. And there's just an incredible amount of things one can do here. Let me go ahead and see if I can bring in just maybe a base assignment one here. I'll bring in one this time is brittle. And I'm going to bring in just assignment number 2. And there it is. It's going to hopefully float because it's brittle. And there it is. So you can get an idea here. This is a program called OE Cake. And this needs inputs that are PNGs or JPEGs or TIFF. In other words, they're raster. So you worked all semester on a vector engine. And what you've seen over time is that Autocad actually can do lots of things with vector engines, but with rasters, but it's really not its forte. What you would end up doing usually is using the XREF command. Remember the importance of the XREF, and maybe change the transparency, and then perhaps that draw order becomes pretty important as well. So let's see if we can put in one more assignment here. We'll bring this one in as powder. I've never actually brought it in. We'll try it as a gas. Bring in assignment number 5. It doesn't do much for me. Let's see if we can do powder, and we're going to bring in assignment number 4. And there's assignment number 4 in powder. See what happens when it hits there? Up, just kind of goes to powder. So you will realize here, I'm going to try some of these eraser tools, that taking a class like drafting and not doing it again, finishing the class and not moving on in the past might have been okay because you didn't have access to the software, but you all have access to Autocad free, SketchUp free, OE Cake free through some kind of backdoor. Incredible amounts of things on your iPod Touch if you get one, on your BlackBerry probably, they're on computers at school. And try to start to learn to use this graphic engine not only to convey information but to solve problems. The mathematics graphers, some things like Grapher or PacificT.com or GCalc 3 that I think they use in the math department. All these things are ways of tying mathematical problem solving into graphic problem solving, so you can get to good solutions. So I hope you've enjoyed at least seeing some of the cutting edge that you can get in your home downloads. Hope you learned a thing or two, and those of you hope to see you all in class. There will be no more formal assignments, though I do expect everyone to go through and look at the kind of comments I've made and hopefully make views for everything. And those of you who still have some stuff to do, there's plenty of time this week and on Monday next to get it all done, and so you all get submittals and get everything checked off, and you can get up to that quintessential 930 points would it be to get an A. 1000 punto is what we have for the number of points in class, and as a rule, if you submitted something and it's mostly correct, I've given you the points on the assumption that you're going to do the revision this week. So if you've got blanks in there, work with me and we'll have some student helpers, I hope, this week to help you push through the rest of this. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching OE Cake. Let's try a little bit more here. Let's go some viscous here. We'll go a pencil here. Make something viscous here. That's going to be slow. You notice here the computer's slowing down. It's slowing down because there's a lot going on in this screen. So right now I'm going to show you outflow. It's one of my favorites. Going to just kind of let the water leave the screen right now that way. There it is, going to fall right in, and I'm going to bring an inflow at the same time. Water's going to flow in from there. And that's OE cake. Thanks for listening.